Noir Nation. Merry Christmas. We about to make merry mayhem around this thing. If today is your first time listening to the pod, why thank you for a lovely Christmas gift. You sure know how to pick 'em. And trust me, what you giving to me, I'ma give right back to you. And to the Noir Nation, the best part of Christmas is you. I already hollered at Santa and all y'all on the good years. I had to do a little something to smooth some things over for a couple of y'all, but have no fear. Santa should be good to you like y'all are good to me. Today, I have for you a tale, not our usual mayhem per se, because it's prolific, but it's only one crime, okay? But it's a crime that's so heinous that it deserves an honorable mention all by itself. While this is the Christmas show, it's gonna feel more like Halloween. This story is gonna send a chill down your spine. Two things can be true at the same time. What do you do when the monster is your kid's principal? The man that everybody looks to in the community for his gift with helping troubled kids. I'm talking to Joe Clark without the baseball bat. Like, how do you reconcile that this pillar of the community is also a monster? This week's Mayhem Maker, y'all, is so regular, normal, everybody loves this dude, yet he was accused and convicted of the most horrendous crime a person could commit, killing his whole family. Noir Nation, I ain't even gonna hold y'all this week. This week's, I'm telling you, we're going to have a conversation about it because it's going to make you think. Some of us are going to be divided. Some of y'all going to think that this nigga didn't do it. Some of us going to think, yeah, the fuck he did. But it's okay, because that's what we do here. We can have an adult conversation. We can all have our opinions, but I'm here to bring you the facts. So bringing to the front of the congregation, this week's Melanin Mayhem Maker, the Grinch of this story, a man named Mr. Vincent Brothers. I like to call him the fuckboy. All right, Noir Nation, let's get right on into it. Vincent Brothers was born May 31st, 1962, in Long Island, New York. Now, his mama's name was Margaret Brothers. His father was deceased. His name is unknown. But what we do know, Miss Margaret had 10 children. Ooh, child, that thing was getting it up out of both hands. All right, Miss Margaret, I see you, girl. They don't make them like that no more. And those 10 children and Margaret, they grew up rough. I'm talking about get it out the mud rough. And out of Margaret's 10 children, Vincent was the one that kept his head in the books rather than getting booked. While the rest of his siblings were in and out of jail, Vincent had a goal to get out the ghetto. He had a plan and he executed that motherfucker. He graduated from high school. He went on to a HBCU over at Norfolk University. And when he graduated, he joined the Marine Reserves. Now he got that fresh GI Bill, time to go get another degree. So he throw the deuces to the East Coast and them cold ass winters and he heads west, landing at Cal State in Bakersfield, California. Now everybody seems to agree that Vincent was great with kids. And just like Trick, Vince loved the kids. And that's wonderful, right? Because we need more black men in the school system rather than the prison system. And like I said, Vincent had a gift. When it came to mentoring the youth, baby, they were drawn to him. He went above and beyond. Bruh was walking the kids to and from school to make sure the gangs and the bullies didn't fuck with the children that was trying to stay out the streets. If there were after school programs, sports, anything, if there were children there, Vincent either organized it, managed it, or was volunteering up in that thing. And you know, the women love that shit. Oh yes, he was so good with the kids. Ooh, I bet he'll be a good daddy. He was always around somebody's mama, always being nice and personable. And y'all know we fall for that shit all the time. And old Vincent, his personal life was booked and busy because Vincent kept him something slim up in the cut. But while he was building a name for himself in the community and in education circles, he was also getting his swerve all the way on. Now, while he was at Cal U, he met a woman named Shan Kern. Shan liked that he was good with kids. He was getting an advanced degree. Honey girl, he looked good on paper. He talked that good talk. He liked to wine and dine. He say all the right shit. So Shan was like, you know what? I'ma let him be my boo. Next thing you know, Shan find out she pregnant. It's around 1988-ish right about now. And it's okay. Shan got a good man. Or so she thought. Baby, now that they kind of deep in this relationship thing, she done had her baby and they done goddamn moved in together, she starting to see some ways about Vincent that she really don't care for. You know, the biggest thing was this nigga would fall off the face of the earth for days at a time. Like legit, this man would just be poof and be gone. Ain't said nothing. Ain't taking no calls. And then he show up like nothing happened. And not only that, the nigga said he wasn't answering no questions about where the fuck he been. Say what, Nene? What you say? Who? Y'all heard me. This nigga be gone, no contact, 3-4 days at a time. Come back like he just came back from the convenience store. On that bitch don't ask me shit. Eat the cake, anime. All right, Now, Shan, she knew that the things were starting to go south with Vincent. She had a little girl named Margaret, but she's basically a single mother because Vincent, come to find out, is good with other folks' children. This nigga really ain't shit with his own kids. After a couple of times of the disappearing acts, Shan was like, wait a minute, where the fuck this nigga at? Then her spidey senses started tingling. Y'all know what it mean when our spidey senses start tingling. You know what I'm saying? Some shit ain't right. This nigga think he's slick. She come to find out that Vincent out here entertaining other women. Plural. So when he popped back on the scene, she confront that ass. Now she went in thinking that she was checking her man, the upstanding man that's in the community and good with the kids, and that is the father of her child. That's not the dude who responded to that chick. Oh, no. Vincent flipped the fuck out on Shan. Yes! Like this dude crashed all the way out. I'm talking about put the pimp hand down. Shan was trying to figure out who the fuck and what the fuck, and Vincent clearly didn't give a fuck. Cause he hit his baby mama with a 2-piece. Baby, followed it up with a monkey stomp. Shocked the shit out of Shan. Now this nigga up in here talking about, don't be questioning me, bitch. She was bitch this and ho that. Like, what the fuck? But understand, Shan was not with this fuckery. Please believe Madame called the police on Vincent and he was arrested. He was charged with misdemeanor domestic violence in June of 1988. But it's 1988. Y'all know they really didn't do shit to him. They gave him a nice little light slap on the wrist. 6 days in jail and some probation. Needless to say though, Shan didn't want shit else to do with his ass. Smart girl. Not that Vince gave 2 shits. I mean, he really lived by the principle that the best way to get over one bitch is to get on top of another one. And now he got his eyes on a chick named Angela Richardson. Same game, talk that good talk, let us see how good you are with the kids, go in for the love bomb. Next thing you know, Vincent marrying Angela in 1989. But Vincent still got that community penis and that Ike Turner attitude. Had Angela channeling her inner Angela Bassett talking about what's love got to do with it. Understand, him and Angela got divorced in 1990. But again, you know, Vincent don't let no time pass. He's still working in the school system. He is making his way up. He started as a substitute teacher. Now he is on the administrative side. Nigga moving and shaking. Then he met wife number 2, Sharon Bernard, in 1992. Same song, same dance. Wine and dine, be attentive and intuitive, love bomb the shit out of her. Man, let me tell you something. That shit lasted all of 4 months before Sharon threw in the towel. She filed for divorce and a restraining order because Vincent was crazy as fuck and she didn't want no parts of his ass no more because he was threatening to unalive her. When a nigga tell you he gonna kill you, y'all better believe him. Baby, but this is the upstanding member of the community that's so good with the children. In 1996, he's principal of a middle school, but there's a woman who works there who has sworn out a complaint against him for sexual assault. She said that she tried to do a criminal complaint, but the police department talked her out of it because they said that Vincent was a pillar of the community and this would have a negative effect on his career. Are you fucking shitting me? I promise you I'm not. So the woman understands that clearly the police are not going to do shit. But she still wanted that shit on record that Vincent was a pig. So the school system is where she went. She told them everything, and what they do. They give him a slap on the wrist too. They send him to another school. This time they send him to an elementary school. Oh yeah, so let's keep the man that can't keep hands or his dick to himself around the children. Yeah, Vincent is now the vice principal at the Fremont Elementary School. I mean, like, they didn't even demote this nigga. According to this woman, he roughed her up. He tried to strong arm her out of pussy. And she told them all this. And everybody is still looking out for Vincent and what's in his best interest. Because he's such a good man. So from this, we can tell that Vincent is good at work, but a class A1 fuckboy in his personal life. The nigga been married 4 times. Oh, wait a minute. I hadn't told y'all about them other 2. Watch this shit. This is the gotcha. Now, yes, Vincent is married 4 times, but them last 2 times, they were to the same woman. The woman's name is Joni Harper. You see, Joni met Vincent in the late 90s. Joni was born and raised in Bakersfield. Her mama had a house there and had raised Joni and her siblings there. She, much like Vincent, had a gift of mentorship with the children. The children loved Joni. She was also talented on the basketball court. She was an officiant, a referee, you know what I'm talking about? For D1 basketball games. Like, your girl was on point. But Joni was also a mama's girl. So while she had moved away from Bakersfield, she missed her mama. So she came back. Now, her mother is super active in the community, and Joni's in the school system, so her and Vincent were bound to cross paths. She meet this nigga, he tried to shoot his shot, but Joni really wasn't picking up what he was putting down, you know what I'm saying? But the nigga persistent. Y'all know his game. He whined, he dined, he wooed, trying to get next to Joni. But understand why he doing all that, he's still out here in these community sheep. Now, Miss Ernestine, that's Joni's mama. She didn't raise no fools. And please believe these was good church-going peoples. I ain't gonna say they was in the church every time the doors open, but every time something was going on at the church, they was there. So with Vincent coming around with this foolishness, Joni wasn't really trying to hear none of that. She was on some, you gonna have to walk tall with the Lord and live by the good book if you want to be my man. But Vincent was persistent, and like most fuckboys, he know how to say the right thing at the right time with the right combination and look so sincere while doing it. Over time, he wore that ass down, and she let him get that cookie. Next thing you know, in 1999, Joni come up pregnant. Ooh, child. Now y'all know Miss Ernestine is not pleased with her daughter being unmarried and in the family way. Vincent has his own place, but he come over to Miss Ernestine's house and play around with Joni from time to time. He ain't got no key or nothing, but you know, he be over though. But I'm sure Sister Ernestine was dropping big hints, like she was on some, you better marry my daughter right now. Jesus is not pleased. So Joni welcomed a bouncing baby boy named Marquise in 1999. But check this out. According to the streets, Vincent wasn't even there. He missed the birth of his son. And the next thing you know, here comes Joni talking about, I's married now. I said I's married now. Vincent and Joni got married January 25th, 2000. And everything seemed perfect from the outside looking in. But in real life, Vincent was still a hoe. This nigga still got this community penis. And he still get ghosts for days at a time and don't want to answer no questions about where he been. Joni was crushed. Y'all know how that shit feel when you come to the conclusion that the person that you love is trash. And much like Sharon and Angela and Shan, after she said I do, not too long later she was like, I don't. As in, I don't want to do this no more. First off, Vincent still got his apartment. What the fuck is you still got this apartment for, Mr. Married Man? I don't have nothing to back this up except life experience. But I think Joni went into this thinking that she was giving Vincent his first child, and then she found out that he already had a baby. Or she went into it thinking that Vincent had never been married before. Come to find out, he'd been married twice. Because I don't believe that Vincent gave her the whole story about his history. And after they got married, Joni started finding out what kind of man she had actually married. But please understand, Miss Joni and Miss Ernestine, these is good, upstanding church folks. I'm talking the Lord is my shepherd and I shall not get played kind of people. Why you say that, Nate? Well, you see, Joni didn't divorce Vincent's ass. She got that bitch annulled in September of 2001. Now, Noir Nation, y'all know I don't like to not know stuff. I have to dot my I's and cross my T's. So I researched what an annulment is. I mean, I know what it is, but what grounds do you use to even ask for an annulment, right? How you get one? Well, first and foremost, the difference between a divorce and annulment is that with a divorce, there is still a record of the marriage. With an annulment, there is no record. They wiped that bitch clean. It never happened. Okay, so that's very thorough, right? So how do you get an annulment? Well, the top reasons that they are given is for fraud, bigamy, lack of mental capacity to marry, or physical inability to consummate the marriage. Okay, so we can strike right off the bat, not consummating the marriage, because we know Vincent good community dick ass work. The nigga a vice principal, he been working in the school system for like years and he got 2 degrees. So he is not lacking in mental capacity, right? So what that leave us? Fraud and bigamy. Okay. I see some fraud. I could see maybe some bigamy if, we know he was married. Maybe he didn't sign the papers. Maybe he's still married. I don't know. All I do know is Joni went the route of annulment so it wouldn't look like she had ever been married to this nigga. I'm comfortable with going that she really came to the conclusion and the knowledge that Vincent was a total fuckboy and she didn't want no parts of it. So yeah, while Joni was washing Vincent out of her life, that's still the father of her child though. Y'all know how that shit go. She wanted him to be prominent in their lives. She wanted him to step up and be her husband and her prayer partner. Oh, and she was also pregnant with baby number 2. Yeah, there's that. Y'all know how this shit work. Vincent done came over there talking about, I want to see my son. I want to see my son. Next thing you know, Joni calling on Jesus in the missionary position. Well, shit happens, and Joni welcomed her second child, a daughter, Lindsay, into the world in 2001. Somewhere around the same time that annulment was going down. They say Vincent wasn't there when Lindsay was born either. Yeah, Joni definitely found out this nigga was a fuckboy. But still, at the end of the day, Joni got 2 children by this man, and she really want him to be her Boaz. Her Boaz. Get into your Bible. This nigga ain't out here trying to be shit. Fuck boys have to grow up on their own, and most of them don't. I mean, let's be real. But like all fuck boys, he spent the next year and some change gaslighting Joni into thinking that he had seen the error of his ways, that he was ready to be a proper husband and a family man because his family meant everything to him. He was going to counseling, y'all, over at the church with Joni, but he still got missing from time to time. Y'all think the nigga was turning into a werewolf? Like, maybe he have to leave at the full moon and some shit so he don't hurt nobody. I bet at that moment, Joni would have believed anything because all she wanted was for this man to do right. Well, he still coming around, right? Going to the church or whatever. Next thing I know, Joni pregnant again. And Vincent know how Miss Ernestine feel about this shit. So what happens? They get remarried in January of 2003. Baby number 3, baby Marshall, was born June of 2003. Man, but here's the thing. Vincent was there when Marshall was born. Look at God, Nay. Maybe Vincent is turning over a new leaf. Y'all do know what podcast y'all listening to, right? Oh, okay. I thought y'all had forgot. So they've been married about 5 months for the second time at this point. It's going into July, right? It's going into the summertime. And Joni's still living with Miss Ernestine and her husband still got his apartment and he falling through from time to time. Y'all know about that fall through. Now, without having been there, I know what was going on in that house after that last baby was born. From Joni's point of view, it was a whole lot of talk about Vincent getting his shit together and stepping up and being a man and handling his responsibilities and cause she was tired and she wasn't gonna put up with the shit no more. Y'all know what I'm talking about? If you don't want to be the man, I'm finna move on. I'm gonna divorce you. This, that, and the third. Come on now. Y'all know what is going on. The cost of living is going up. These children cost money. You ain't kicking in like you supposed to. You need to get right. If you ain't gonna do right, I'm gonna show you. I can show you better than I can tell you. Come on, Noir Nation. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. Unfortunately, many of us have been in this situation. And shit get real when that baby come out that belly. The hormones start settling down and shit. And I'm also sure that Miss Ernestine was hitting him from the other side. Baby, every time Miss Ernestine seen that nigga, she was hitting his ass with a Bible scripture. She'd hit him with that good one, kind of like, husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her, that he might sanctify her, having cleansed her by the washing of the water with the word, so that he might present the church to himself in splendor, without a spot or wrinkle or any such thing, that she might be holy, without blemish. In the same way, husbands should love their wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself. Ephesians 5:25 through 28. Like, this nigga was really catching holy hell. But so what, nigga? You deserve it. That's your wife. Handle your business. So now Vincent feels like he's been backed into a corner. And he's got the absolute gall to be feeling like he the one that's been wronged in this situation. Like, how dare Joni ask him to pay up? How dare she start hinting around she finna put him on paper? I'ma tell you about how this disgusting, trifling ass piece of shit decides that he got a way to solve all his problems. He gonna leave his wife and 3 kids and go on a little vacay for the 4th of July so he can see his mama and them back on the East Coast. I know you did say that Joni just had a baby. So you mean to tell me he's about to leave his wife, his 2 very young kids, and a newborn? Really? Yes, that's exactly what the fuck I'm telling you. Oh, but it gets better. So the people he going to go see, he's about to fly across country to go visit his cousin Melvin Brothers. Melvin Brothers, his cousin, he ain't seen this nigga in more than 20 years. So it ain't like you close to this man or nothing. But you see, I'm thinking that Vice Principal Brothers, he decided when he left the East Coast that he was distancing himself emotionally and geographically from his kinfolks that stayed in and out of jail. But now all of a sudden you finna go spend the holidays with these people that you ain't seen since you was a child? Okay, fuckboy. And that's exactly what the fuck he does. Vincent flies to Columbus, Ohio on July 2nd, 2003. Now, they got him on camera at the airport. He gets off the plane, he grabs a rental car, a blue Dodge Neon, then he heads to his cousin's house. Okay. Now, back in Bakersfield, Joni chilling. She got plans to hang out with her peoples for the 4th and just chilling. Now, at some point in time, her and Vincent have a little titty-tay over the phone and shit go left a little bit and words start popping out that make a fuck nigga tremble in fear. I'm talking about like alimony and child support. Y'all know they don't like them words. That's like kryptonite. So I would say that Vincent's little vacation is off to a fucked up start. Now, Joni, her mama, Miss Ernestine, I told y'all they was very active in the church. And that Sunday, July the 6th, after the holiday, that was no exception. They got up, they went to church. They had a routine. After church, they would have lunch, and then they would go home and catch a nap before they went back to church for the evening service. That was their routine. Every Sunday, period. But that particular night, they didn't show up for service. It was odd, sure. But reasonable people, they think, hey, Joni's got a newborn. Maybe she was just tired and decided to sit this one out. I mean, they be here every time the door's open. She has earned the right to miss a service. And so the peoples went on about their business. Now, after church, they called. They ain't get no answer. But again, maybe she's tired. Maybe they sleep. But I need you to understand, Miss Ernestine, old school. She got a house phone in addition to the cellular phones in the house. Ain't nobody answering. No phones. Well, next day, Monday, July the 7th, the peoples is still calling and ain't nobody answering the phones. So, okay, now the peoples is getting worried because something ain't right. Now, when people love you and they get that feeling that something ain't right, they move on their shit. Now, Joni, she had a friend named Kelsey. Kelsey went to bed Monday night and she said, if my friend don't be done call me by the time I wake up, I'm going over there. When I tell you, Noir Nation, the friend was up at the cracketh of dawneth on Tuesday morning, July the 8th. I'm talking at 6:55 a.m. She knocking on the door. Ain't nobody answering. But you know, a true friend ain't finna stop at their front door. Oh no. We finna go around to all the doors and all the windows that we can knock on, look in, or throw some at. And friend did. She went round the side of the house to the patio door. That bitch was open. Shit. Friend walk in. It's quiet as fuck in here. Too many children in this house for it to be this quiet. Shit. Friend started walking. She started calling Johnny's name. Johnny! Miss Ernestine! Where y'all at? She hit that hallway. She see a body. It's Miss Ernestine. She laying in a pool of blood. She been shot point blank in her face. Her revolver laying right there beside her. Damn, she ain't even get off a shot. Friend crying now. She just calling out Johnny's name. She go to Johnny's bedroom. There go Johnny. She laying face down. She got bullet holes in her head, in her chest, in her back, and she been stabbed. Like, who the fuck would do all this? You gonna shoot her? Then put the gun down and go get a knife and stab her? That don't make no sense. But it do sound hella personal. It's almost like somebody tried to kill her twice. Friend crying hard now. Yeah, there go Marquez and Lindsay. Oh, Lord. No, they ain't moving neither. Lindsay been shot in her back. Somebody put a pillow over her. Marquez's eyes still open. He watched whoever it was that shot him through the left side of his head. He wasn't but 4. She wasn't but 2. Friend really losing it now. Oh my God. Wait, what a baby. Oh God, please, Jesus, please, Lord, please let the baby be all right. Please, 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 where's the baby? Damn, there go the baby. 6 months old. Shot through the back. Friend is destroyed. She is trying to call 911. She is trying to get the words to come out of her mouth to tell these people to come and handle this shit. She does, and now all she can do is wait. But she ain't have to wait long, though. News that a whole goddamn family been murdered in their house, it's all hands on deck. And when they heard it was Miss Ernestine and Joni and them babies, man, that shit lit Bakersfield on fire. Now, the police come in that motherfucker on 2 wheels because ain't no way this call is actually real. They enter the house and it's so much worse. To see that heinous crime up close and personal, to have to photograph that horror, to have to take them babies out that house, oh my Lord, what kind of monster would do such a thing? But the police are pushing through, and they doing the fuck out their police shit. They think the family was killed on July the 6th, according to the ME. Figured it was somewhere around the time after they came home from church, but before the second service would have started. Now, when they started looking around the house, though, something just ain't right. You know, because first of all, Miss Ernestine don't play about security. Like, besides that gun, she got a fence all the way around her house that got spikes on it. She got burglar bars on all her windows. She got doors full of locks and deadbolts. Ain't no sign of forced entry. How the fuck did somebody get up in here without waking these women up? Second, when you actually just look around, the house ain't in no kind of disarray. I mean, it ain't tore up at all. Somebody took the cash out their pocketbooks, but all the electronics, jewelry, and all kind of shit that you can pawn is still here. The fuck kind of robbery is this? Not to mention now, come on now. If somebody wanted to rob these ladies, they ain't have to kill them. They was already asleep. That's about as subdued as you can get. You can creep around that motherfucker like Ezel and Smokey did in Friday. Like, this is overkill for no reason. And also, the killer covered the bodies of the children. First off, most robbers ain't killing no kids, but covering the bodies, doesn't that usually mean the killer is remorseful or feeling shame or something? If this is supposed to be a stone cold killer with a heart of ice, why cover him up at all? It just don't make no sense. So okay, what else might make a motherfucker come in here and go overkill on this family? Well, then they said, well, you know, Miss Ernestine is a community activist. You know, I told you, she's the one you call when you're getting railroaded by the system. She hang with the criminals and the thugs because, again, she's a community activist and they in the community. So the police are like, maybe she had beef in the streets. But the streets quickly put that shit to bed. And they was like, honey, Miss Ernestine face card never declines in these streets, baby. We want to know just as bad as y'all who the fuck did this. So, okay, Miss Ernestine ain't the target. We know them children ain't got no enemies. So who the fuck want Johnny dead? On the count of 3, all of Johnny's friends was like, Vincent, her husband, Vincent. And then they commenced to tell about all the ways Vincent wasn't shit. So, okay, now the police want to know, what the fuck is Vincent? He is now wanted for questioning for the murder of his family because while they were out canvassing the neighborhood to see if anybody had seen anything, there are some neighbors that say they saw Vincent at the house in Bakersfield on July 5th. Yes, Noir Nation. Two dudes, Roosevelt Richardson and Calvin Calloway. They live next door to Miss Ernestine them. They say on July 5th, they walked past Vincent as he was getting ready to walk towards Miss Ernestine's house. So they gave him some doubt. Vincent stayed a few minutes. He came back around and he left. They also said that Vincent never parked his truck in front of the house. He would always park like a street over. Okay. So now, where the fuck is Vincent? But wait a minute. How could Vincent be in his cousin's house in Ohio and in Bakersfield at the same time, Nate? Somebody lying. Indeed. Now back to this funky, punk ass, stinking ass nigga back in Ohio. He acting like ain't nothing happened. According to Vincent, he been kicking it with his cousin all week long, kicking it with his brother, just living it up. And now on July 8th, the same day that Johnny was found, Vincent and Melvin are about to drive to Elizabeth City, North Carolina to Vincent's mama's house. But here's the funny thing. In the midst of that drive from Columbus, Ohio to Elizabeth City, North Carolina, can't nobody get in touch with Vincent. Like, there are people calling. Joni's family is calling. Vincent's friends, the people he worked with are calling. And the police and the motherfucking FBI is calling. Nobody can get in touch with Vincent. For some reason, him nor his cousin have cell service for that 5-hour drive. Where that happen at? Okay. So when they get to Elizabeth City and pull up at Vincent's mama house, Miss Margaret, she gotta break the news to her baby that this terrible tragedy has befallen on his family. Baby, when I tell you that nigga put on a whole show, he hooped, he hollered, he hooped and hollered, he cried, he sobbed, he rolled around on the floor. Oh, he called on the Lord of Lords, he called on the Lord of the Rings. Then he said he needed a trash can because he was gonna be sick. But he wasn't sick. He moaned. He groaned. Then he cried some more. Then he rolled around some more. Then his mama told him, baby, the police in Bakersfield want you to turn yourself in. They want to talk to you. They want you to go down there to the police station here and they'll be here tomorrow. Vincent was like, fine. I don't have anything to hide. I've been here with my cousin all week. I ain't seen him in more than 2 decades. We just been catching up nonstop. I've been right here, ain't I, Melvin? I've been right here with you, ain't I, cuz? Yeah, cuz. So Vincent pussyfooted around for the rest of the evening, and around about 11 o'clock that night, he finally rolled over to the Elizabeth City police station to clear his name. The shit was all for show. Cause first and foremost, the crime happened in California yesterday. And here this nigga is standing in North Carolina. Say he been in Ohio for the last 6 days with his cousin. Got receipts and shit to show he was in Ohio. I don't fault Elizabeth City Police Department. My first instinct, without knowing the whole story, is that this man cannot be in 2 places at the same time. I mean, Elizabeth City can't arrest the nigga because they don't know shit about the crime and they ain't got no jurisdiction for investigating or prosecuting it. I mean, they basically just the principal's office. Vincent is on detention and they're just waiting for the real principal, Bakersfield, to get there and have a real conversation. So yeah, Vincent up in there and all he want to do is cooperate because he cannot believe what has happened. But baby, somewhere around the time that the cock crowed, I'm talking about when the sun rose the very next morning, Vincent went from, I'ma fully cooperate because I ain't got nothing to lie about, to, you know what? I don't have anything to say to none of y'all. Talk to my lawyer. What? Nay, when the fuck did Vincent get a lawyer? I know, right? Sometime between I ain't got nothing to hide and Bakersfield will be here in the morning, the nigga made a few calls of his own. And I ain't saying that wasn't a smart thing to do because look, he a suspect. But if you ain't got nothing to hide and you were truly on the East Coast the entire time, why the fuck you need a lawyer? I will never fault anyone from getting a lawyer. That's a smart move. But I'm just saying, if you were truly on the East Coast for a whole week and you've got receipts and all that shit to prove it, why do you need a lawyer? That's a waste of money. I'm just saying. Now, Bakersfield, they arrested him, if you will, but they had to let him go because they didn't have no fucking evidence. All they had was a good feeling. And you can't hold nobody in jail on a good feeling. So even though they were executing search warrants at his house, at Miss Ernestine's house, at his mama's house in Elizabeth City, at his cousin's house, I mean, everything that was associated with him, they were looking for a murder weapon or something that was associated with this crime. But they ain't find nothing. Like Nathaniel, nothing at all. So when they did get around to questioning him, because his lawyer showed up and he allowed them to briefly talk to Vincent, all they really wanted to know from Vincent was, check this out, bruh. Why you ain't call us? You been calling your family, you been calling the people that you work with, but your whole family was killed and you ain't talked to nobody in law enforcement. Why you ain't call us? And his lawyer was like, we're not answering any more questions. Bitch, you ain't answered now question yet. Okay. Something don't smell right. It's funky. Y'all see this side eye? I know you are innocent until proven guilty. That's what they say, but I'm side-eyeing this nigga at this point. So they released Vincent same day, July the 9th, because they don't have no evidence. But he is their number one suspect, and they telling that shit to anybody that'll listen. He did that shit. We can't prove it yet, but he did that shit. So Vincent go back to his mama's house, and he started making arrangements to fly back to Bakersfield and bury his family. And now comes the fuckery. It's time to bury these beautiful souls. On Wednesday, July 16th, 2003, at the East Bakersfield Church of Christ, 4 white caskets. One for Miss Ernestine, one for Marquez, one for Lindsay, and one for Joni, holding baby Marshall in her arms. Oh, my Lord, I can't imagine the pain and the sorrow up in that church. Ooh, honey, that's just too much. And here go Vincent, punk ass, sitting right up front, crying and carrying on and shit. Oh, he inconsolable. His wife, the love of his life, is gone. His beautiful children are gone. His mother-in-law is gone. How could the Lord put this burden on him like this? And here go the police trying to pin this heinous crime on him. Oh, how this nigga performed. Now I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all, Johnny and Ernestine's family, much better people than me. Because throughout all of this, even though the police are saying that Vincent is the motherfucker that did the motherfuckering, they have decided to not pass judgment until it is proven in a court of law. Wow, that is so commendable. Like, I don't even know if I have it in me to hope to be as stoic as that. Because y'all know I get down with the Old Testament. This nigga killed my mama, my sister, my niece, and my nephews. I ain't gonna even hold you. You guilty till you prove it innocent in my book when it come to my blood. During that service, he's sitting up here sniveling and shit. And the pastors, both of which happen to be Miss Ernestine's sons, they up in the pulpit talking about this person will be brought to man's justice and God's mercy. This person about to meet God right now. We done fucked around and got the moving furniture and the caskets done got flipped over and Johnny and them over there on the floor and Vincent headed to the upper room. Shit, on my mama. Y'all better keep praying for me. So, back to, not being silly. While they are not throwing hands, they're also not interacting. Please believe Vincent came in through a side door and left through a side door. He knew that the Harper family was on some, I ain't a killer, but don't push me. I'm just saying. Now, this extremely sad funeral goes on. The police chief is right there looking at Vincent because I told y'all they got this nigga under surveillance 24/7. Nigga, you will not slip out of our hands. And then the funeral's over. And here go Vincent out here on the receiving line, hugging folks and shit. Ooh, child. They head over to the Hillcrest Memorial Park for the graveside portion of the service. Now, I told y'all Miss Ernestine's sons were pastors, and I guess Jesus was whispering in the ear of one of her sons, Pastor Robert Harper. When he got to that graveside, he gave Vincent the biggest, longest hug. And in my mind, I'm thinking a lot was said during that hug. Because he's a man of God. So there's a whole lot of turn the other cheek and forgive and all that in the Bible. But at the same time, we talking about this man's mama and his sister. He's still immortal. I think he grabbed him up in a bear hug, and that hug was like, nigga, I forgive you because God want me to. But you better be glad I'm a man of God because I squeeze the shit out your ass. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying. I'm really trying. So yeah, Rev hugged him up and a couple of more of the family members decided to thaw out a little bit, but the majority of them was still not fucking with Vincent at all, right? But at the end of the day, Joni and her 3 kids and her mama are in the ground. Their last act of humanity is done and over. I mean, the funeral is done. The last tear has been wiped. The last piece of funeral chicken has been eaten. And now the Harper family got to start living the new normal. Oh, God, life has got to go on. And Vincent punk ass trying to figure out how to live under constant police surveillance. I guess the nigga thought he should keep busy, right? Summer break about to be over, school finna be back in. So he had the bright idea to call the school and tell them, hey y'all, I'm through bereaving and I think I'm ready to come back and welcome the children back to school next month. Now, mind you, Vince is a principal at a black school in the hood. And kind of like how we did with Juicy Smouye, they was like, hey, I don't know, my dog, you sure? Maybe you need some more time. Translation, don't bring that shit over here, nigga, you hot. And we don't need that heat or your bad example for our children. Because understand, the peoples was making phone calls. There were people that were on Vincent's side, but there was a very vocal majority that was like, fuck that nigga, we don't fuck with that nigga, and you better not bring that fuck nigga back in this school. And they didn't. On September 30th, Bakersfield School District was like, look at here, bro. We're going to give you some time to get your mind right. Ain't no need you coming back up to this school because we got somebody who handling your business for you. You can take this unpaid leave, and when the dust settles and you finish with your little criminal shit, come back and holler at us and we'll see what we can do. Well, things are not looking good for Vincent. And they're getting worse. Because the Bakersfield Police Department has not stopped trying to put this case against his ass. They are not resting. This case is a top priority. They done dug all up into Vincent's background. They done talked to all the women from the past. They know all the shit that he done, all his fuckery and shenanigans. But it ain't enough to convict. This nigga is a fuckboy. That's not a crime. Gotta keep digging. There was a little teensy-weensy piece of evidence at the murder scene. It was a little piece of a latex glove, like the fingertip portion, like some kind of way it pulled off. And so they sent it to the lab and they tested it. It was Vincent's DNA on that little piece of latex. Well, things are starting to look up a little bit. Well, wait a minute. Let's start looking at Vincent's financials. They see them credit card charges that was over Columbus, Ohio, July the 2nd to July the 8th. But you know, it ain't enough to see a receipt or the charge on a statement. It's 2003. We talking security footage is a thing. So let's go look at the tapes. And would you look at here, when they started looking at the surveillance video from those places that Vincent's credit card was at, how about his card was there, but Vincent's punk ass wasn't there? Oh no, it was all Cousin Melvin. Yes, Vincent ain't nowhere to be seen. Oh shit, now we really got something. Now, Vincent's cell phone was also making phone calls from Columbus. But if he gave Cousin Melvin his credit card, he can also give Cousin Melvin his phone. Okay. Shit's starting to look good. I think we got a case here. It's still a little circumstantial though. They started looking at the rental car. Come to find out, that rental car from his rental had more than 5,000 miles on it. Wait a minute. 5,000 miles? Do y'all understand that that's the mileage that it takes to go from Columbus to Bakersfield and back? Ooh, that shit sounding good. But we still need a little bit more evidence. Something that's a little bit more concrete that a good defense attorney can't wiggle out of. So how about this, Noir Nation? Y'all ever took a road trip? You know, the further you drive or the faster you drive, the front of your car is like an insect graveyard. Oh yes, honey. Grill just clogged with the carcasses of bugs hitting your shit. Well, there are some very smart people that specialize in bugs. They call them entomologists. And the Bakersfield Police Department sent the radiator, the grill, and the air filter to an entomologist at the University of California at Davis. And they identified every bug on that bitch. And then they pinpointed on a map where them bugs was found at in the U.S. Them pinpoints went from Ohio to California. And all of the dead bugs that she identified, it was about 4 or 5 of them hoes that was only found west of the Rocky Mountains. So if they dead in the car, ain't no way that car stayed in Ohio. Oh shit, Vince. They closing in. And how about this? When it originally went down, Vincent's cousin Melvin and his brother Troy, they told the police that Vincent had been with them the whole damn week and they could vouch for him personally every goddamn day. So then the police rolled up on their ass one more time to talk one more again. Now that they got that video of Melvin doing the shopping by himself and the bugs and the mileage on Vincent's car, they was like, hey, You still gonna go with that lie that Vincent was with you? That showed him that video. Where Vincent at? Melvin was like, oh yeah. Was a couple of days that Cuzzo had slipped off. I just thought he had needed some space. I ain't really know. You know what I'm saying? I just assumed. Can't really say. And that's exactly what he told the grand jury when they put his ass in front of one. I don't know where the fuck my cousin was. Okay, Vincent, that's your ass. 9 months after that terrible crime, they finally arrest Vincent and charged him with the murder of his wife, his 3 kids, and his mother-in-law. And now the shit show really begins. Man, the defense delayed and fought every motion that came out. They did everything they could to drag that case out. They stretched that shit out for 4 years. But finally, February 21st, 2007, the case was on and it was standing room only in that bitch. And the prosecution laid it out, just like I just did for you. They had witnesses saying that Johnny was done and was about to leave Vincent and take all his money. They laid out this elaborate plan that he created that on July the 2nd, he flew out and then he drove back to California either on the 3rd or the 4th. He stayed off the major highways. He filled up at Liberty gas stations without cameras with cash. He laid low, but he fucked around and got seen by a neighbor. How did he get a key? He took Johnny's car to the shop one day. He just made a copy. That's how he was able to get inside the house and not wake them people up. They say that when he got in the house, he goes in, he killed Joni and Marquez first. Miss Ernestine heard the shot. She come to see what's going on. He shot her point blank in the face. Then he went back in the room and finished off Lindsay and the baby. He then went to the kitchen, got a knife, came back and stabbed up Joni some more. And then he left. He gets back in the rental, drives back to Columbus. He arrives back in Columbus around July 7th. Just enough time to turn in the rental car, jump in the car with his cousin, and go see his mama the next day on July 8th. Now the defense was like, ain't none of that happened. There wasn't enough time for him to drive from Columbus to Bakersfield and back. And as far as the rental car, man, them people don't be paying no attention. They just be putting anything down. They messed up the mileage. They put it in wrong. And as far as that DNA on that little piece of glove, it's probably been up since the last time Vincent was over at Joni's house fixing something. And as for cousin Melvin, y'all scared him to death. He would have said anything. Okay. Bottom line from the defense, somebody else did this shit. Now, previously, the defense was supposed to have a star witness. Vincent's brother, Troy, was supposed to testify. He said he was going to set everybody straight and give Vincent a rock-solid alibi. Troy was in the courtroom, but when they called his name to get up there on that stand, couldn't nobody find Troy's ass. Oh, no, this bitch got a bench warrant now. I thought you had said, but okay. Yeah, I know. Shit hit different when your ass is about to be under oath. You can't run game because a lie is a lie. And when they catch you in one, that's your ass. But guess who did take the stand? That nigga Vincent. Baby, they told him a new asshole. Now we know the nigga is a liar. We know this. This nigga thought he was gonna get on the stand and run that game. Man, they caught this man in so many lies. Like he might as well have been Donald Trump's brother. Sir, you can't pimp talk your way out of this. And you do understand that that's a jury over there listening to all this. You know they don't like liars, right? And speaking of the jury, they did what juries do. It took them 2 days to deliberate, and then they found that ass guilty of 5 counts of first-degree murder with special circumstances on May 15th, 2007. That's your ass. Fry, nigga, fry. Let him cook. That nigga Vincent, they say he just sat there and cried. Yeah, Vincent can't believe he got convicted, but he still got a trick or two up his sleeve. You see, when they was taking him back from the courtroom, the deputy looking at him and something is off. How about the leg chains is only on one ankle? How the fuck that happened? Wait a minute. Is something glistening in this nigga hair? Y'all, why Vincent got some homemade handcuff keys in his hair? Yes. This nigga was planning to escape. He had to use one of them little homemade keys and open the ankle restraint and put it on just one ankle. The nigga was going to escape. Too bad your little plan got blown up. Now, on May 29, 2007, they made that shit official. They gave him an official death penalty. And guess who spoke at his sentencing? His only surviving daughter. Remember Margaret? She 18 now. She told the judge what was on her heart, that her daddy wasn't shit. She was dropping his last name and would never see him again until the day he was dying. She never wanted to be associated with him again. Right on, Margaret. I'm with you, boo. Now that punk ass Vincent, he stayed property. He over there at the California Correctional Institution at San Quentin. He's been there ever since September 27th, 2007. Still waiting on that long sleep. As of today, Vincent is inmate F90651 and he is 62 years old. Still talking about he didn't do it. Now this case is tragic, period. 5 souls gone too soon. Countless lives affected on both sides. And I believe that Vincent was a man that was good with children in the community. And I believe that he had a passion for education. And I also believe that he believed in lifting up the Black community. But I also believe he killed his family. You know, maybe if he had not gone to Ohio, I probably wouldn't have believed it. But this man who, by all outward appearances, didn't fuck with his family, decided on a dime that he was going to leave his wife with a newborn for a holiday to go reconnect with a relative he hadn't seen or talked to in 20 years. That don't make sense to me. Them bugs on that car, that mileage on that car, the overkill of the situation. The person that killed Joni wanted her dead. That wasn't business. It was all personal. Johnny wasn't for the streets. Vincent is the only man she getting personal with besides the Lord. So yeah, I think that two things are true at the same time. Vincent was good with other people's children, and he was a deadbeat dad to his own. He was a community leader and a fuckboy. He was an educator and a killer. See, it's important that we as people start coming to terms with the concept that it's okay for two things to be true at the same time. All of the people that gave interviews with their full names and faces talking about they couldn't believe that Vincent could do something like this, that Vincent got railroaded and that the real killer was still out there. I'm not saying that they can't support whoever they want, but you can support someone and stand in the full light of the truth. The truth being that you really don't know a person. So many people talked about how they interacted with Vince and Joni as a couple and how they were so happy. They were the perfect family. They really loved one another. That Vincent was a doting dad and a great husband, and that Joni adored Vincent. All that shit. Two things can be true at the same time. Most people don't put their dirty drawers on display for the world to see. And what I mean by that is the snapshot of time that is presented to the world is always the rosy picture. It's always the good times, right? I don't care if it's on social media, if it's at work, when you hanging with your friends, whatever the situation, everybody puts the everything is great face on. That woman that just got monkey stomped by her husband with that fresh black eye, when you see her, everything is great. You stay out of sight till that black eye fade, or it can be covered up with makeup. There are people who dislike their mate, but when you see them out to dinner or at Target or wherever, they're all smiles. I thought they were happy. Every time I see them, they look so good. Two things can be true at the same time. There are some people that outwardly are good, upstanding people, and they are absolute monsters behind closed doors. They volunteer their time. They work with the kids. They're doctors and lawyers. They're in law enforcement. They're the manager at the Burger King. They are in every facet of our lives. People look up to them. People may even be inspired by him, but that doesn't mean that they can't also be a terrible human being in certain conditions. Some of you may be going through it right now. 2024 has been a boogabout personally. And I'm here to tell you, it's been rough, but I don't look like what I've been through. I didn't look like it when I was going through the through. Newsflash, still going through. But two things can be true at the same time. Just because you didn't see the bad doesn't mean the bad wasn't there. Just because she's smiling in pictures doesn't mean that she wasn't crying a few minutes later or a few minutes before. Just because somebody got a good job or a nice car or a nice house doesn't mean that they can't be a serial killer. And just because the Melanin Mayhem podcast is new, it don't mean it can't be your favorite obsession. Cause man, the mayhem of it all. I hope y'all enjoyed the Christmas episode and it made you hug your families a little bit tighter. And if they getting on your nerves, just think of Vincent and stop plotting on their ass. You can head on over to social media land and get down with the mayhem too. I'm Melanin Mayhem Podcast everywhere except on X. Over there, they want to be different. I'm Melanin Mayhem PC. I also want to shout out to Marquesha Haygood from Iowa. Girl, rep your city, honey. We everywhere. Marquesha emailed me and I wanted to respond to her directly, right? First of all, the video is coming. I'm trying to figure out how to get my audio and video live together. And also, time management is a beast. It is Tuesday at 11:17 p.m. and I'm recording, and this podcast has got to be up tomorrow. So I'm going to be up late tonight. You will get it on Christmas at some point, I promise you. And Marquesha also wanted to know where the name Noir Nation came from. I was trying to figure out something that meant black, came up with Noir. I wanted another N. Nation popped in me, and boom, Noir Nation was born. I wish I had something a little bit more eloquent to say how I got to it, but that's it. So thank you, Marquesha, for listening. And look, don't let them 8.5 by 11s in your office get you down, girl. New One Nation, thank you for spending a little bit of your holiday with me. When we talk next, it's going to be a whole new year. And your favorite country girl will be right back here with all the mayhem you can handle. Until we talk again, stay safe, stay vigilant. And remember, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. Don't drink too much. And if you do, take a Uber. It's one love, New One Nation. And the country girl is out of here. Merry Christmas. Wow.